All right, y'all, it's a couple minutes past the bottom of the hour. I think I see most of the folks that I was expecting to make the call and see that we're live. So I figure we go ahead and get this meeting started here. I appreciate y'all joining us for the January 2023, our first meeting of 2023 for the Transportation Penny Advisory Committee. With that, and seeing that we are short by a couple appointees of a quorum, we'll go ahead and jump into our agenda and see if anyone else hops on to help us handle the business of the committee towards the middle or the end of the call here. But we'll jump into the agenda here. First of all, Kelly or Mike, do we hear anything as far as public comments or anything we need to address there?
No, we did not receive any.
Very good. And short that quorum, we'll skip item 3 on our agenda. We won't be able to approve those minutes until we have a bit of a larger group with us. And so let's move on into item 4 on our agenda with the Office of Small Business Opportunities. Looking at our agenda packet, I'm starting on page 3. Jackie, Erica, welcome. I'm sorry, Jackie, we'll get to you in a moment here, but Erica, thanks for joining us. So you can jump on in.
Happy New Year to everybody. For those who I haven't seen or spoken to between December and the 23rd of January. My name is Erica Wade. I'm the manager for the Office of Small Business Opportunity, and it's a pleasure to see everyone again. I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into our report. So from the last report I know we had 120 SLBEs that were certified at the time. We did drop 2 over the holidays. However, the 2 businesses that fell off the list are in the recertification process, along with some additional businesses that's in the hopper, that's going through the process of being certified with the county. This year, we've set our goals. Last year, we did at 60, so we set it at 40 this time. We're working closely with procurement and just assessing the needs of the county to see which areas that we need to really ramp up our certifications in. So like I said, our goal is set to about 40 new SLBEs this year. As far as our workshops for 2023, we are in the process of finalizing those workshops. So it seems like this year, our focus is going to be around strategic partnering. So we're working closely with some of our partners and collaborating with them to put together some workshops and trainings for 2023. So like I said, it seems like we're going in the direction of strategic partnering and also contracting. So hopefully by the next meeting, we should have our schedule approved and ready to go. Also, as you can see, we are in the process of hiring a business development coordinator. So if you know anybody who's seeking employment that's really good with working with small businesses, I would ask you to encourage them to please apply. It's on the website. The position is on the county website. So if they want to go ahead and apply, we are welcoming applications at the moment. I think overall, that is what our report is, since it's just the beginning of the year. We're looking forward to 2023. We had a good 2022, and we're hoping to do better in 2023. So from here, are there any questions?
No questions from me, but looking forward to what y'all have got coming up next or this year, and looking forward to hearing more about that at the next meeting. Any appointees have any questions or staff have any questions for Erica? All right, very good. Thank you, ma'am. With that, we'll move into item 5 on our agenda, the comment program update. I'm tracking about page 11 of our agenda packet to dive into that.
Yes. Okay. Good evening, everyone. And again, my name is Jackie Bowers, and I'm the Director of Operations for the comment. And actually, I would start the report on page 12. And we'll start with the Lucis Road Superstop project. So the original budget for the facility was $1,565,760. And with scope changes to the current contract value is now $1,756,000, $1,756,137.28, which equates to an 8.9% increase to the current budget. The project is presently 98% physically completed and 96% financially completed. So we're almost at the 100% mark. Presently, we are waiting on a water meter from the City of Columbia. We submitted the paperwork in October to get that meter installed. The City of Columbia actually approved the permit on December 19th. So as of last week, we were told that they have no more meters now. They're on back order. So we're waiting on that to start the irrigation for that site. Also, there have been a slight delay in the installing the lights in the parking lot by Dominion Energy. And that was because it was showing the address, the incorrect address. So that particular location where the super stop is a different address than what our main office is. So they had our main office address listed as the same address. So luckily the contractor was able to go in person to get that changed. So that has been taken care of. Okay, we can move to page 13, which is the Davidson Floyd report. And the details to this report will actually start on page 14. So this is for the shelters and the benches, the permitting status. So as of now, no shelters and benches, the permitting has been completed. As far as the approved sites, one shelter, which is at Broad River and Shivers Road, and one bench at Hardscrabble and Bush River. And just like, I reported last month, we're still waiting on the completion of the sidewalk for the Hardscrabble Road widening. So the sites currently under permit review are at Broad River and Rushmore, and Rushes is reviewing that easement still yet. And then West Hospital at Sunset Drive, and Lexington Medical Center is also reviewing that easement for that location. So page 15, excuse me. Sites in design, there are 6 shelters in design. And the one that was recently added was at Midlands Tech, and that's the Midlands Tech location on Power Road, which is off of Fair Road. So that's the northeast location. And there are 19 benches in design right now. We go to page 16 for the ridership data. So for the month of December 2022, the total ridership was 111,331. And for December of 2021, it was 112,745, which is a decrease of 1.26%. And the thing with the ridership for the months of November and December, you have the holidays there where we're completely closed on Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day. But leading up to those holidays, we have like parades that may or may not happen. And when we do have the parades, we have to detour routes. And of course, we lose ridership when we have to detour routes. So those numbers will fluctuate for those 2 months. They're very unpredictable.
Okay.
Okay, and on page 17 are the financials. And then It's last page 18 of the DBE report. If you have any questions about those two reports or what I've already presented, I'm open for any questions.
Thank you, Jackie. Any questions from appointees or staff? I am glad to hear that the super stop is coming along. I'm curious, you don't know off the top of your head what size meter they're looking for that irrigation meter, do you?
No, I sure don't.
I gotcha.
I sure don't.
Okay. But understand how that may be behind. That makes sense. With these stops, and we talk about them being under design, and that process taking time. I understand. You want to have a concept, you want to implement that concept through design. You need to seek permits and permissions to do it before you can actually implement something like that. But for these lean benches that are attached to the pole, is that something that requires a lot of design, or is it just kind of we're working through these in order, and so they work their way up, or am I oversimplifying?
Yeah, we're working through these in order.
Okay.
And at some of these locations, the contractor, they're communicating with some property owners, and it's like going back and forth with different things. So yeah, they're working on them as they get them.
Gotcha. And so we can't jump to the one that's 12 down the list. It might be the low-hanging fruit to say, oh, this one, we don't need any additional permissions. We're just going to use our existing sign and bolt the lean post to it, so to speak. There's no way to expedite that way.
Yeah, they can. They have been doing that, and that depends on the availability of the equipment they already have in stock.
Understood. So that's another wrinkle in it, is making sure you actually have something to install.
Right. Because we're also, in addition to like the new requests, we have to replace the existing one that's been damaged. So if there was a wreck somewhere and they ran into the shelter and just totally demolished it, we try to get that done as quick as possible because it could be out in the road area.
So those repairs take priority over new things.
Yes,
Okay.
we try to get those repairs done since they were already existing.
Okay. Very good. And one other comment, I guess more than a question, is that, I think as we've been looking at these ridership reports over the last few months, that the the corridor, the local, the connectors, those are all showing year-over-year improvements in ridership. It's really the USC. They changed their name back. We're going to change that in a report.
Right. Yeah, they changed the name back.
That seems to be where the gap's at. Is that something that y'all are tracking at all, or you're noticing that trend that the ridership seems to be lagging a little bit with campus or on-campus ridership?
Yes, because they have like the different breaks, the fall break, the spring break, and where we do the reduced service when they're on break. And then when they're not on break, we do full service. So that area also fluctuates because of the students, depends on what they're doing for each year, each semester.
Yeah, I'd expect that those, their days going to class would be pretty similar December to December each year, but I am noticing that trend. And so I guess as we continue to track it, if we continue to see that USC is, not performing as well as it did the year before,
Right.
then we may start to see that is actually a problem, and that it could, compound. Sorry, Chris, did you say something? There's the same trends in ridership. Okay.
Yes, and USC is also tracking it as well. We submit a report to them each month. So they're also tracking that ridership, so they'll know what to do as far as maybe redesigning the route or some other things that they may request.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
And this is Eva, and my apologies. Something's going on with my camera, so it's not really showing what would pull in, but there's a picture. So
Great headshot.
Okay, thank you. Question about the repairs as it relates to the shelters and benches. There's been a few requests of me, and the question that was asked of me when it comes to repairs, is it more reactive to just receiving a phone call to say this shelter X location and the benches over at, B location needs repairs, is it more that you receive a call and then you'll go in and repair the shelters or benches? Do you have some type of process where you go in and evaluate the shelters or benches?
Yes,
wear and
actually,
tear?
yes, in addition to someone may be calling in to report it, we have a crew that does the shelters and bus stop cleanings. So they have to visit all of those locations to clean them. So if they see one that needs repair or replaced, then they take care of it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll probably call on some of the ones that I've received a request that they need some form of repair. I don't know the
Mhm.
level of damage to them, but I'll get with you. I'll follow up and make that call.
Yes, because most of them when we get a call, we've already got it on our list, but
Yeah. Okay.
just go ahead and call us anyway and let us know, or send me an email.
Okay. I'll do it. Thank you.
Mhm. You're welcome.
Awesome. Any other questions for Jackie before we move into our transportation penny update? Very good. Well, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And I'll turn it over to Mike. Y'all can't tell I'm looking at the squares of my screen here. So, all right, Mike.
Oh,
How you
thank
doing?
you, sir. Doing well. Good evening to the TPAC and all members of the committee, and to our numerous project managers who are out there as well. Always there to guide me and straighten the report out if they need to. We have a new project manager starting in late February, Kazi Islam, PhD, who helped kind of write the book on pavement process with SCDOT and did a lot of studies on that. So be a great asset to our team coming up. And then we do have an upcoming council action with the Blythewood Widening Road award of construction. For pre-construction.
I'm sorry, Mike. Do you know when that ad hoc meeting is coming up? I was looking earlier and hadn't seen any dates for anything.
Yes, it is under development. It's looking like February 7th. We'll get the time soon, I hope. A lot of times they're at 5 p.m. in that time frame, or 4 p.m. So when we get that, we'll post that.
Okay.
The date we are looking for is council award the following, would that be the following week? Yes, on the 14th.
Okay, thank you. And yeah, when they have that schedule out, that might be helpful for us to coordinate our meetings around as well. Once I set that up for the rest of the year.
Yes, sir.
If they do.
All right. So good to get the widening projects going. There's several of them that are getting close. Alpine Road sidewalk. That's I know we're working on getting the City of Columbia's standards implemented in the special provisions to get that project going. We got the ATP for construction coming up soon with that one. That one's going to be close. Atlas Road widening. Jeff McNesby reported that he's got a couple more easements to get. City of Columbia kind of couldn't get these ones for a gravity sanitary sewer. So he's proceeding with our land acquisition on getting those easements added to one of the parcels down there, or two of the parcels. He's also got some work to avoid issues with CSX. He indicated they've changed the way we're outfalling stormwater into their roadside ditch. So that'll be another one coming very soon to construction. Bluff Road widening phase 2. We're at 70% plans. You're going to see that in a lot of the report of the projects. 70% also called right-of-way plans. When we get approval from DOT at that stage, that's our first big approval. we can go out and acquire any needed right away when that's completed or taken care of as far as the right of way acquisition, along with several other things. We can submit our final plans and get approval on those. Blythewood Road area improvements. It's certainly been talked about a number of times with McNulty. There's some reshaping to the street. DOT spec that they've provided us with is to pass two WB 62 semi trucks going in opposite directions on the curve. This curve is kind of behind the Carolina Wings and McDonald's in that area. That project is about in similar stage, but maybe a little behind Creech Road. Creech Road will be an extension of a road that's off of Blythewood Road and will tie into Main Street. So it's kind of an installation of a new road where there isn't one, in that will provide sort of a somewhat of a bypass from Blythewood Road to Main Street. That project will be a town road, which will be county maintained. Broad River Road NIP, Michael Green's working on that, is getting very close to the right-of-way plan submittal. In Broad River widening, right-of-way plans are under development, so we can get to land acquisition yet this year. And the decision was made to relocate a large diameter water main that's 54-inch diameter. So the OET is preparing plans for that process.
Who's paying for that?
The penny.
Oof. Wish I had advice to offer on that. That's tough. I know that's going to be an undertaking to make that move, and I'm sure y'all are coordinating very closely with the city to make sure they're happy with that plan on that one. It'll be a
Yes,
difficult one.
one of the things they're happy about a number of things. One of them is the consultant is Michael Baker International, and they're someone that they has worked with and have confidence in on that bypass that'll be necessary to keep it going. They'll be looking at a couple of options possibly, and even if the bypass can become the permanent alignment. So that's underway. Yeah, we didn't want to have to, but taking into account risks to the future and everything, it made sense in the end. And one of the things the DOT made us aware of is that initially they weren't going to move as many utilities on Hardscrabble Road, and kind of warned us a little bit about that. Crane Creek NIP. This is several sidewalk projects that are under design. And then the Crane Creek Greenway, a separate project. This one is being worked on by Dr. Ali. The project we're looking at is going to be tight on the budget we have, but we want to get across Crane Creek. So they're continuing to pursue that with permitting that they need. We had a meeting on that in the last couple of weeks. Dirt roads are continuing with review evaluation of years 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 projects that were not carried through in the past, that didn't have good documentation on the consent denial process. So those are being just evaluated on the list. Decker Woodfield NIP. So right now the RC Richland County Rec Recreation Commission is meeting tonight at this time in about 2 minutes. They're picking up our agreement tonight. Michael Green is there, and they will be, their attorney had reviewed, the document and went through iterations with that. Once satisfied, it went on their agenda. So that's tonight. We need that to construct the sidewalk 10 foot wide. I say sidewalk because it's concrete, but it's a multi-use path through the woods from the end of Chatsworth cul-de-sac down to Brookfield Road. And then the project will also include sidewalk on the north side of Brookfield Road. I think we talked about the PIM we had on Hunt Club Road. Not well attended, one participant for a virtual meeting on sidewalks. That's in that same realm of projects, but will be bid out separately for the Decker Whitfield NIP. Gills Creek Greenway. A lot of interest on this. It sounds like we did get a positive feedback. Jeff McNusby's been working on that with Midland Tech and got some positive feedback on the extension of a boardwalk connector onto their property. There'll certainly be terms and conditions involved with that for the city's long-term maintenance of this city, what will be a city-owned greenway. Lower Richland Boulevard widening. Last Thursday night, we had a public information meeting on that. It was well turned out, a good turnout. I don't know if I have the count, but I saw, some 30 or 40 people at different times throughout the night there. And a lot of good questions on the project. So we'll continue along on our project development and review after we review the public comments. Percival Road sidewalk. There's just a property owner that was not responding, and so we're looking at changing that to an easement from a permission so that we can obtain that however we may have to as far as getting onto that property. It's a very minimal impact in an area that's undevelopable. Pine View Road widening. This one is at 60% plan. And we reviewed the development plan of this road that included the signalization at American Italian Way. And that is something we believe will be in the final plan. Polo Road widening that is being worked on by our project manager, Stephen Staley. And they're moving that into the right-of-way plan phase. That project, by the way, is mainly intersection improvements, widening at each intersection, still a 2-lane road. And Holt is starting on Polo Road Greenway. That's getting going. That's a connector greenway that'll be in Richland County area. And Stephen Staley is working on that one as far as just getting it kicked off into early design. Really nothing new to report on Shop Road widening. We've met and are meeting regularly. Dr. Ollie's working on this and meeting with the OET, but it's in continuation of development of the plans. Excuse me. CERN, we just got kicked off for design with the contract. The sidewalk project along Rabbit Run. Smith Rocky Branch Greenway, it's at 90% plans, and I believe we're going to have a right-of-way certification soon, which will allow us to get to final plan. Spears Creek Church Road widening, that project is just got its comments in here in January, and so our consultant is moving to get those comments completed with SCDOT. And once that is done and we have the SCDOT approval, we'll move into land acquisition. Sunset Drive sidewalk. We've gotten the comments back from SCDOT at the end of November. And so we got our responses back in early December. Want to get that one moving to construction soon. And then this is one I see Kim Tony out there working on this. Trenham Newcastle NIP, the OT is working to complete preliminary plans with some minor adjustments. And I think we've talked about the adjustment before, which was ensuring that it would connect to Park Lane. So we talked about Blythewood Road and that we would like to see that get going. Once it does get awarded, it would get pre-construction and hopefully start up in March. Bull and Elmwood, you don't see a lot of things going on there except for barrels because they're working at night. We met out there today with the contractor. They do have on Elmwood, on the heading into the DHEC property towards the Elmwood or the Bull Street development area. They do have that inner site curb and gutter poured now. That'll be forming the new centered median between in and out on that leg of the intersection. They are moving with a lot of exploration and underground utilities. And that's what we were meeting out there today to discuss some of the things that may have been buried slightly differently than the original plan. Dirt road package M, we are, I guess, all have been paved with exception of Maggie Hip to be paved in January. And Dirt Road N, which was bid out recently, has had a priority of getting Cornell Adams started and staking's underway. There's various other utility coordinations Jeff McNesby and our inspector made us aware of that was going on out there, unrelated to the project, or maybe kind of in some other areas related to the project, but all private utility funded changes. Other roads, Summer Haven Drive and Valenga Drive. I know we had sometimes we do a dirt road and somebody asks if we can do their adjacent dirt road to that dirt road, or cul-de-sac dirt road adjacent to the big dirt road that was funded. And unfortunately, we're following our funding list and can't do that. And somebody kind of had that question in general for us. The Garner's Ferry Harmon intersection, they're relocating water main and preparing for borings. The borings will be under both Garner's Ferry and Harmon intersection legs. So once those are done, I think most of the major relocations will be out of the way for road construction. Vista Phase 2 is complete. I went out and checked the fencing and other things. There might be some punch list items and how we want to address the fencing that is on the closures area, but contractor was wrapping up all the improvements that were necessary about a week or two ago. In Main Street, been a lot of activity on getting the first lift of asphalt in. They were about 80% complete with that on my last trip out there. I'd imagine they may have that lift completed, and they have another surface course lift of asphalt to place throughout the intersection project. And then they'll have pavement markings to do after that. That would pretty much wrap up that project. Resurfacing, we are on S and T. We're just starting off on S, and then T will have start in February. S was the longer list, and T was probably more complicated roads, but both similarly, over $2 million. Screaming Eagle Percival intersection, there's just some ditch work. They're aligning things for the permanent situation, and they're moving along on schedule on that. And we're complete with Three Rivers Phase 1B. We can pretty much take that off here. We got our, I guess, both this project and Innovista. We've gotten comments back from the railroads, in both cases that, they find our project to be complete, and they're going to stop billing us. So that'll be good. So upcoming, as we mentioned, Alpine Road, Percival Road, Sunset Drive, all 3 sidewalks, all complicated sidewalks, but 3 coming up that are fairly lengthy. And then the Atlas Road widening project. So those are the ones we're looking to get kicked out into construction soon. We've been keeping the S and T package list in here in case anybody, viewing or seeing this online has questions about those. And then the last page of this is our financial report. And pretty much, what it indicates is we started off with an overall budget in the penny of 1.07. With the current estimate, we're planning to stay there. And of course, with the expended to date, at some point, we plan to stay there. So other than the program's grown by reimbursements and grants from outside of about $41,900,000. So it kind of really raises the program total amount of things that we're getting done by a few percent. And so as we'll continue to look at outside funding sources, as well as just additional communications with the public. So all those projects we mentioned coming up, and project out to bid when that's before we get to a pre-construction meeting, we will, or just after the pre-construction meeting, we'll likely announce the project and going to construction and potentially have a groundbreaking for Blythewood Road. That's all we have.
Very good. Any questions? Hey, Chris, I see your hand up there.
Hi, John. Hi, Mike. I have a question for Mike. First, thanks for all the project, moving things along with the Blythewood projects, because those come up quite often out here in the community as to when things are going to be happening. But my question was about Nature Trail Road off of Bookman. It's an unpaved road. I think you had mentioned it back in the fall. So I just wanted to circle back and see how that was, where that stood.
Okay, yeah, I won't find that in this report. Nature Trail is one of the dirt road projects. It's what I call, probably one of the more complicated dirt road projects, and it's I think we found that there's a buried force main under part of it. And once we have that located on our plans, we will have good plans ready to bid on that. We will have some land acquisition to finish up. So, you know, if we got that one started in late summer, I think that would be our goal because of the land acquisition we have.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful. Mike, are we running a little behind on the monthly reports? I noticed October is still the most recent one that was posted.
The big report,
Yes, sir.
I'll just say yes, we may be.
We shouldn't be. I'll double check. I submitted that a while ago.
Yeah.
I'll check in the morning and see if they
Okay.
can get it up.
This might just be stuck somewhere between your office and the folks who put it online.
If you can't see it, we're late.
Very good. Just going through my notes real quick to make sure I didn't forget any of my other questions I had. I'm glad to hear that Green Street is wrapped up and that coordination went smoothly there. Also glad to hear that Main Street might be getting near completion. I remember that was a project that when I started on this committee almost 5 years ago, folks were beating us up pretty bad and saying that needs to be done soon. And so now to finally be getting there, and I understand there's been multiple iterations and many change orders and many reasons for that project to continue, but it's been ongoing for a while. So it'd be good to be able to close that one out. I'm sorry, no questions in that, but I guess Dr. Patman, Eva, any other questions or comments or concerns?
No, just very impressed with how things are moving along. So kudos to you, Mike, and your team. Awesome job.
Thank you, Eva.
Likewise, thank you.
Wonderful. Very good. Well, Mr. Maloney, I appreciate your time very much. With that, I do want to tackle some committee business. And so definitely need IT and Kelly to hold on for a moment while we work through that. But for our project managers and program managers, if y'all want to start your evening, you're welcome to. But with the few appointees that I have on the line, I want to talk to y'all about just a couple of things. First of all, as far as membership goes, I guess we probably need to be looking for rules and appointments. Mike, maybe you know the answer to this. Do you know if they've taken on their committee assignments and we'd have a new rules and appointment committee pulled together? You're muted, by the way. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure that they have that formed. I will see them all at their retreat in a couple of days, but I could ask, tomorrow if you have a specific question. So have they even, so that group needs to be formed to make the members of the TPAC available for a process development of that. Is that right?
That's right. And,
Okay.
I don't know that they have any open applications, but we do want to, at least put it to them to say, we're looking for appointees if they have anyone in mind they'd like to appoint. And then I may want to also submit for a reappointment as my term is coming up here in the next couple of months. And so
Okay.
just to continue to participate there, but also want to see what they can do to solicit some membership for us. And we need to do the same with the City of Columbia. And so I can reach out to those folks to push them along a little bit as well. Very good. And I guess the same question goes for ad hoc. And I guess they have formed and taken on the assignment. It sounds like at least that much is true. And then, determining from there when they're going to be meeting. I'm not sure if they're going to set up a schedule for the entire year. It's kind of looking back at their meeting dates for like the second half of last year, and it was all over the place. It was the second Thursday, sometimes the last Friday, the first Monday. It was really all over the place. So they may just not know. Okay. With that, I did want to try to talk with the appointees who are on the line a little bit. We're not going to be able to adopt a calendar or name officers without a quorum. We're going to need at least 6 appointees on the line for that. So we're just a couple short this week. But did want to talk about at least our next meeting. I do see that February 20th is our next scheduled meeting. Is that a holiday for Richland County? That is President's Day.
It is.
Okay, so if that's the case, then I think we want to do the 27th of February for our next meeting. Chris, Candace, Eva, is that okay with y'all? Since y'all are here, y'all get to have some input on that.
Yep, that works.
Yes, that works for me as well. Yes, that's good.
Likewise, that works for me as well.
Okay. And Kelly, something else we noticed before the meeting, Dr. Patman is not included on the meeting invite. I just went back and checked, and it's a long list, and so it's hard to know that I'm 100% right, but the invite that we got last Friday, she was not included on. So we want to make sure that we've got all of our appointees on that list. If you wouldn't mind, next time before we send it out, just taking special attention and time to go through and just verify that each of our appointees are included on that list, because I know that's kind of come up at times in the past. So anything we can do to verify that, we'll do it on the 27th. And Kelly, I guess we haven't had any additional clarity on being able to meet at the county offices. I didn't get a lot of response for meeting out on the northeast side of town. Chris was the lone person who said that she would be willing to meet me out there. So have we got any resolution on being able to meet at the county offices, or is that pretty much a no-go and no further developments at this time?
I don't think we have any further developments. Mike, have we had an update on that? I know that we had kind of an issue with security is really what it was.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to, if we want to try to get in there, and it has to do with overtime in the sheriff's department, as far as being at the door for us. I don't know why we would need all that, but they do lock those front doors. So really the only way to get out is kind of one-way doors out of the stairwell out the back of the building. So at that time, which, depending on where you park, isn't that big a deal. So we could try that, but the penny can't fund that.
Right. Yeah, and I wish we could make the case that this is a function of county council, not a function of the penny.
Yeah.
And that, council and the Richland County government should be footing the bill for that, not y'all. But, that's a hill of bureaucracy I'm not sure we want to, wade into. I'd love to hear from those on the line. What would y'all think about a different meeting time? I understand that for, as being professionals and having other obligations, that sort of thing, it may be difficult to meet before 5 o'clock, but is that something that we could maybe poll the rest of the group to see if they'd be interested in? Do y'all have any conflicts that wouldn't allow you to meet at maybe 4 o'clock rather than at 5:30?
No conflict for me. I just would have to make an arrangement. But I would like the earlier time as opposed to the later time. So, but wouldn't be a conflict in any way, because I'm retired. So
No.
so it's so I can flex my time.
Love that. Well, I want to be more like you when I grow up.
Okay.
I was going to say likewise. So for myself, just being a teacher, 4 o'clock is actually when we're finished. But since it's once a month, certain I can work that out. If the group would like to meet earlier, then that is something that I'm certain I could work around.
Okay, but maybe not if we were going to do 8 or 9 a.m. That would probably impact your schedule a little bit more.
Yes, it would be better if it was like the 4 o'clock. The 3 or the 4 would be better for me. The 8 a.m., I'm certain that there would be teenagers running rapid. There.
Understand. Yeah, keep an eye on them. Very good. Chris, similar comments or?
Yeah, that 4 o'clock works just fine for me. I'm self-employed, so I'm flexible.
Okay. And then, while we're talking about it, how about day of the week? We want to facilitate and make this as accessible for as many of our appointees as possible. This is kind of our once a year when we get to have a chance to talk about that. Is our Monday is a good day for y'all? For me, it's as good as any other. I'd rather like to avoid Thursdays and Fridays just because that tends to get eaten up by other professional organizations and events. But what do y'all think as far as day of the week? Is Monday okay, or does it not really make a difference one way or the other?
Monday is best for me,
Okay.
but I
Same
do
here.
have oh, go ahead.
See a thumbs up from Chris. Great. Thank you.
So John, I have a concern.
Yes, ma'am.
And my concern is wrapped around it's been since I've served on the committee. I think I recall perhaps twice, if that many, of establishing a quorum. So I get it. I know we would want to get more, appointees and have that, but the more we get, the harder possibility. Of course, the quorum numbers goes up. So I'm concerned about that. And do you know what's going on? I mean, have you reached out to the other members that are not in attendance and have not been in attendance for several months? I mean, what's going on with that?
Yeah, and so I've been trying to reach out with some emails beforehand. You kind of see my limited communication that I get out before meetings to say, hey, we've got a meeting coming up. Be aware this is what we're going to try to cover. Here's some information for you to be able to reach out to, and then we rely on Kelly, of course, to get invitations to everybody too. But I agree. I think that we have some folks who have taken the appointment and weren't really that interested in serving. Others who have accepted the appointment as kind of the last one, for some of these smaller towns. Our appointees from Forest Acres and Blythewood are folks who are government officials and kind of see as within their purview to have access to this committee, but aren't necessarily engaging. And so, they are reminded to say like, hey, you're on this committee, and this is the minimum requirement is to show up for the meeting. Problem is our bylaws are very short on any kind of punitive action that we can take. I've certainly been on other committees before where if you don't attend 2 meetings in a row, you can be booted from the committee.
Right.
That would be a very helpful tool, but as it is, we lack that power. And so I think we'd have to go to the Rules and Appointments Committee to ask them to, at least be able to flex that over the Richland County appointees. And then the folks from other municipalities would be a little bit more difficult. And so, of course, with Robert's rules, we only need to reach a quorum of members who are duly appointed. And so those who aren't appointed and who have been in municipalities have indicated like we are not going to appoint somebody else, like Eastover, Arcadia Lakes. They've both come back to tell us we're not going to send anybody else because we don't have any more projects in our area, so we're not concerned. But then there's other places like City of Columbia where they haven't been doing appointees to hardly any committees over the last year. They've been very, very slow about that, and trying to get in touch with the city manager's office to even request advertisement for appointees has been extremely difficult. So, I'm kind of feeling like I've been slamming my head against the wall for a while and not making a lot of progress on getting appointees that are committed to being here. And on that note, I definitely want to thank all of y'all for being here this evening and participating in the committee. And we've got a couple other folks like John Black and Frank Anderson who are active participants who weren't able to make it this evening. I was hoping they were going to get here so that we could have that quorum this evening. But I agree, Eva, that is a frustration of mine as well.
Yeah, well, let's see what happens next month. I think it may be worth, because with not being able to conduct business to move, the minutes and continue to move forward in that direction does lead to frustration of having a committee but can't establish a quorum. So perhaps next month we may have one. That'll be great if we do. But if not, then I think it would be worth the effort to go back to rules and appointment to have them perhaps amend the bylaws to address this, the issue that we're experiencing now.
I agree. And I think that one thing that we may be able to do is reach out to rules and appointments once they are assembled, and have all of us write emails to them and say, hey guys, we're trying to do the business of city council and we're coming up short because we don't have enough people to get it done. Richland County by themselves have at least 3 appointments that they can make as soon as they have volunteers lined up for it. Chris, I think you're probably a good example where, I think we had your application submitted for a while before they could actually make the appointment, that you were overlooked in several rules and appointments committee meetings before they finally did it.
Yes.
And just pushing them, encouraging them to make that happen.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens next month.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, Chris?
from the Blythewood perspective, I know a lot of these, the Monday at 5:30 has been a very difficult thing for previous representatives from Blythewood, the town of Blythewood, to come, only because sometimes this meeting overlaps with their council meetings on Monday nights, depending on which Monday night each of these meetings fall on. So I'm thinking with us moving this up to 4 o'clock, even if it did end up being the same day as, like, I know Blythewood Town Council's having a meeting tonight, so that's probably why Rick isn't here. But maybe with it being a 4 o'clock meeting, he'd be better able to make this meeting as well as any town council meeting later in the evening. So might be a good thing with the time change. Might see attendance go up a little bit.
And that's encouraging enough that I'd say we should go ahead and move forward with that time change for the next meeting, and have our next meeting on the 27th at 4 o'clock.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right. So we can work to see if that'll help us out a little bit, and then work to push our elected officials to make some additional appointments as well. And hopefully by doing that, we can fight through this issue with the quorum to get to where we can be a little bit more functional as a committee and have a little bit more of the tools we need to be able to push some things along and to make better recommendations that are elevated. Of course, we appreciate staff listening, but we want to elevate anything that we're concerned about to council and provide that guidance, not just to staff, but to the entire apparatus of county government. So we'll look for that opportunity next time. Kelly, does that sound all good for you, that we can go ahead and set our next meeting for February 27th at 4 o'clock? And can we host that in person at Richland County's offices?
Sure, I'll go ahead and get with administration tomorrow and observe the room. Also, I did verify the email address that I have from Ms. Patton is on there. So if it's incorrect, I just need to it's a Gmail address.
It is. And
Yeah.
it's a period in between the two, because normally when the invite comes through, it pushes to my calendar. And I went back and looked at my calendar. There's nothing there as well.
I don't know why.
Because before it was showing up. So last year, every time it would show up on my calendar, I would get the notifications. I get a day before and then an hour before. But this time I didn't. So I was glad that John sent out the email, because I immediately responded back, hey, is there a virtual option? Because I don't have anything.
So you didn't see an invite at all, or just not the link? Or
No, I didn't get an invite at all.
CANDACE.PATTMAN@gmail. I'm not sure. It's in the box with everyone else. I'm gonna try to test it when we're done here, just to see. But if you don't get anything, I'm just gonna reach out to you separately as well. But I have it in there, so I'm a little concerned about why you're not getting those.
Okay, no problem. Well, then once you do that, I'll verify if I receive it. I'll just follow up and verify with that. And if not, I may need to just close it out on my phone altogether and then log back in. It could be something as simple as that. Technology does what it wants to do.
It does, but I'll definitely get that looked into for you.
Thank you so very much.
No problem.
Awesome. I appreciate y'all working through that. And yeah, hopefully we get everyone engaged. And Kelly, you know, I think we can even take another step and get this on folks' calendars a little bit sooner. You know, I know that I can be a little bit, but delayed sometimes responding and saying like, yes, this is the time, or yes, this is what we need to be talking about. Even if we don't have an agenda ready, I think we can go ahead and send out the calendar invite with the links and all that sort of stuff, so that when I do update folks throughout the month, we can have something to point to and say, hey, this is our next meeting. We've got it scheduled. So once you have a chance to talk to administration and reserve a room, if we can go ahead and get set up with the virtual and in-person options, that'll be great.
Okay, sure. I'll take care of it first thing tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, y'all, that is all I had on my list. Anything else y'all would like to discuss before we adjourn for the month? All right. Well, hearing none, again, thank you all very much for your participation. Staff, thank you for facilitating and providing input. And we'll talk to y'all on the 27th at 4 o'clock. Looking forward to it, y'all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.